$2.3 million. The fight of the night was Steele and Roberts. The performance of the nights were Demetrius Johnson and Yair Rodriguez. Congratulations, they all won $50,000. Who has the first question? Kevin?
First of all, can you fill us in on what's going on with Jones? Was he in a wheelchair?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know exactly what's wrong, but I just think he was a little sore and busted up, so they rolled him back. But I don't know if he's hurt or anything. But OSP had a broken arm in the 4th and 5th round.
What do you make of John's performance? I mean, certainly, you know, you got the two best pound-for-pound fighters in the world going, and Demetrius makes a statement, and John comes out, and you know, certainly did not look like John has looked in the past. What did you make of that performance?
Yeah, I think that, you know, listen, you guys have heard me say it a million times. I'm a big believer in ring rust. And he's been off for 15 months. He fought the number 6 guy in the world who is tough and obviously has a good chin and put on a good performance tonight. But you know, did John look like a world beater? Did he look like the John Jones who many say is possibly the greatest ever? No, but he won tonight. You know, he went out and fought 5 hard rounds against a guy who didn't want to get out of there.
You put him and Cormier in the main event on 200. When Daniel passes on Monday.
When Daniel what? Passes on Monday? Yeah, I don't know. We'll still, you know, obviously we're working on that still, and we'll figure out what's next.
And I want to ask Demetrius, but first you. I mean, what about his performance? I mean, going up against an Olympic gold medalist, an undefeated fighter, and to just, you know, win that fight the way he won.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. He, you know, the guy, you know, Rogan's been screaming for a long time for him to be the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, and you know, tonight he went out and just, you know, if you don't agree with it now, I don't even know what to tell you anymore. He continues to evolve when you think that there's nothing left, you know, to learn for the guy. If you give him this much space, he will hit you and he will hurt you and he will continue. The way that he keeps moving and landing and scoring and hurting, and he's unbelievable, incredible.
I mentioned this in my earlier story about Demetrius, and I said, you know, I thought the only fight you can make would be Dominic Cruz, assuming Cruz wins. I mean, would that be something if Dominic comes out of that fight that you would consider Demetrius and Dominic because of how dominant he's been, and they both have been?
We'll see. Obviously, you know, something needs to be done with this guy because he's beat everybody in that top 10, some of them more than once. We're working on that.
Demetrius, I wanted to ask you, I mean, obviously you've been stepping your game up every time out. I know you talked the other day about that. Like, how do you feel, you know, you are now in terms of, do you feel like you're at your peak, or do you still think you have room to get better?
Yeah, I don't believe I'm at my peak yet. I believe I'm still getting better. I went through a lot of stuff in this camp. You know, I got a root canal, I thought I had a stomach ulcer, did testing, but, you know, my coaches are always pushing me to become a better martial artist. You know, hopefully when I get back to the gym, I can get my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and keep on chugging along. You know, like I said, this is just number 8. Time for number 9. You know, be humble in defeat or victory. Get out there.
Would a fight with Cruz be something that you would be interested in? I mean, obviously he's been a phenomenal champion and he has that win over you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've never shied away from that fight with Cruz. I just want to make sure, you know, my biggest goal right now is to break that title defense of Anderson Silva, and I believe I can do it. So for me to go off and detour on a different route, it's going to have to, you know, really make me want to do it. So, I mean, I fought at 135 before. I'm a small guy, and yeah, I'm not afraid for that fight.
I know how much you want to pay me, Dana.
Hey, he's showing up to fight, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I might not, you know, talk a lot, but I damn sure you guys can believe, like, when I step in out there, I'm going to go 110%. I'm going to give everything I have. This is how I pay my bills, this is how I provide for my family, and so.
When you first got the belt, I mean, you had a string of decisions that you had, and you know, you were getting criticized for that. Oh, Demetrius is boring, and I know it kind of had a rub at you the wrong way somehow. Now you're starting to finish a lot of fights. I mean, what changed that you've gone from, you know, pulling off decisions to where you're now winning by finish against some elite fighters?
More mat time. You know, I had a very long amateur career, and once I became a professional mixed martial artist, I got thrown right into the wolves. And just me trusting my skill set, trusting my coaching. I've always trusted my coaching, but just getting in there and sparring with Matt, Brad, and then just going out there like, dude, 2 things are going to happen. I'm either going to win or lose. No pressure. Just go out there and fight and have fun. And my coaches are very good about, like, dude, just get in there, test your range, test your distance, and then you make the call. And that's a big believer that when he's in the corner, he shouldn't have to say anything. Matt should just sit there and be like, "Good job, everyone, woo!" So that's how it should be.
And Henry, if I could think, or was that a case that Demetrius was just so good, the finish of the fight?
Yeah, honestly, I felt like that was part of our game plan as a camp. I really did believe I was going to dominate the clinch. Coming from a wrestling background, I felt really strong. It was that first knee that he hit me with. I think he said it during the interview too. He heard me grunt. And I took him down. I could have held him out a little longer, but I was still trying to catch my breath. And it was that one knee that really did it. And at that time, when you get hit to the body, you don't even worry about your face no more. So I just started kind of protecting my body, like hanging my head down. And he did a good job. He attacked my body. I underestimated his clinch, and he hit me to the body on both sides. And I think he did a good job. And I underestimated his clinch. I really thought the plan was to take him there, and then slowly wrestle him. But that knee was a difference. And then he just beat me on the knees. And that was the biggest thing.
Dana, you guys had announced that the next version of The Ultimate Fighter would feature flyweights, that the winner would get a shot at Demetrius. Then the tryouts were canceled. Can you update us what's going on? I mean, in light of this guy destroying #2 in the world, I mean, can an Ultimate Fighter winner challenge him? Is that still the plan? What's going on with that?
We're working on that. We're trying to. So, when we were doing the tryouts, we were going to see what was out there. You know what I mean? Because the big question is, who in the world can beat Demetrius Johnson? I mean, that's the question. So we're working on it.
Still think it'll be flyweights at this point?
We'll see.
And Demetrius, I mean, you've made it very clear you're going after Anderson Silva's record. But what is the motivation? I mean, this was the last guy I think that people were really saying, we got to see this fight. This is the guy that's going to give him trouble. You've beaten pretty much everybody else in the rankings. What's motivation like for you? I mean, is it difficult to get up for these fights when in maybe another rematch or something down the line?
No, when I truly say this is how I pay my bills, I take that very seriously. I don't care if it's Henry Cejudo for the second time or Joseph third, Dodson third. This is how I pay my bills, and I take it very seriously. So I don't need any motivation to fight a brand new person or anything. Last time I checked, these bills pay the electricity bill, so I want to keep the lights on.
Thanks, Demetrius. But for you, Yair, please, this was a huge opportunity for you tonight. Delivered in spectacular fashion. How are you feeling right now, and just what did you think of your performance?
I mean, my body feels pretty good. I knew the guy was coming after me. I know he was pretty aggressive, and I was waiting for him. And I just take that shot.
Seems like there's going to be another event in Mexico. I believe maybe in November is what we're hearing. That's kind of a ways off, but it seems like a spot that you could possibly headline. Would you want to wait for the opportunity if you can maybe be a main event in Mexico, or are you hoping to fight sooner than that?
I mean, I don't know what Dana has to say about that. I'm Sean Shelby. I just want to wait until they told me something, and then let's figure out after that.
Thanks. And then just quickly, if I could, for Rob, kind of a similar question. A great performance for you tonight. I know some things that you would like to change, but overall, how'd you feel? And would you like to potentially headline, back in your region, or are you kind of happy, being out on a different part of the globe?
No, I'd definitely be happy to headline, a card in my hometown. It's a dream of mine. It's always been an aspiration. But yeah, I felt really good tonight. I had a game plan. My coaching staff gave me a solid game plan, and the tails are tough too. Stuck to the game plan and come away with the win. It was what more can you ask for?
Question for Barbosa. I'm gonna ask in Portuguese. Queria que você falasse um pouquinho como é que foi a luta, se você imaginou que você conseguiria ter uma vitória tão dominante e como é que você sentiu o Petros lá dentro?
Então, foi exatamente assim que eu tinha imaginado, dominar a luta o tempo inteiro e dar o meu melhor lá. Isso era o objetivo e graças a Deus eu consegui fazer.
Okay, I asked him about.
You'd like a few more fights before the fight got this evening? Would you have liked a few more fights before getting the title shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, he dominated that certain area. I felt good, like my recovery. I've never felt this good. It's just that it takes, if you guys have ever fought, you guys get hit. It hit to the body, man, it paralyzes you. And man, it's a humbling experience for me. Like I was humbled tonight. And the only thing I can do is just go back and, maybe I should take my time a little bit. This dude I'm actually curious to see him fight at 135. I want to see how good he really is, He's proved it tonight. I'm humbled, and I'd like to see him fight at 135 for the championship. I think I want to see how good Demetrius Johnson is, or how far he could take him.
And what about yourself at 135? I know you thought the falling weight cut isn't easy for you, is it?
Yeah, no, the weight cut was amazing this time. Like I said, I felt good, no excuses. Yeah, absolutely. In the future, I would like to go up. I really would. But man, I'd like to at least win the bout before I start thinking of to go to 35.
Said that it was nerve-wracking when the two of you fought on the same card together. So I wanted to ask you from your standpoint, having done it again tonight, did it seem like any type of distraction for you guys, or was it easier this time around than it had been in the past?
I think it was a lot easier this time, just because we had not such a great outcome the first time. So we just had to go together, talk, and realize that we're two separate careers. He had to take control of his reality, and I had to take control of my reality, and so that's what we really focused on. I mean, obviously it sucks to see your brother lose, but we've dealt with hard losses, so he'll be back.
Question for Demetrius Johnson. DJ, a lot of people who are smart people acknowledge you as maybe the best pound-for-pound fighter and one of the greatest ever in your division. It would probably be great if everybody would acknowledge that, but is there a certain badge of honor to you that the people who do point that out are so adamant and vigilant about singing your praises and making sure that you're staying at the top of the conversation?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm happy that people see me as the best pound fighter in the world, but for me, it's just another title. I'm more focused on getting better in the gym, keep on completing my craft, and keep on evolving as a fighter.
And lastly, for Yair Rodriguez, if I could, your very flashy style with the kicks makes you a really singular talent in the UFC. I mean, to see a flying head kick walk-off knockout like we did tonight is probably going to put you in some highlight reels. As you move forward with your career, because that style can certainly have risks, do your coaches talk to you at all about trying to temper that, in the interest of the stakes getting higher, or are they just letting you be you?
It's a funny question because they always told me that since my first fight. But I mean, it's the way that I fight. Like I said in other interviews, it's just the Yair Rodriguez style. I cannot do another stuff because it's the way that I fight. It's the way that I used to fight since I'm a kid. Of course, I try to practice more of my basics, my basic stuff, my basic boxing. I know my boxing is not very good, it's not that good yet. I'm getting on it, and I work every day to be like you said, like less flashy. But for now, I want to try to be the same Yair Rodriguez as always.
Thanks.
Another question for Yair, over here to your left. Congratulations. Early on in your career, it seemed like you had a very strong relationship with Israel Martinez, but recently it seems like you're working with him less. Can you clear up why you decided to go in that direction, especially before this fight?
Yeah, I'm not working with him less. I'm not working with him anymore.
Okay.
We're still friends. We have a great relationship. I used to live with him, if you remember that.
Yep.
I used to try to move forward, look for other new things. I think his style is just wrestling, and he's pretty good. I have my basics in wrestling, and I'm looking for something who's not like that, like strength in my body, because I'm a skinny guy. I'm not that is strong. So now I'm working with Mark Berry, and we use like more leverage takedowns, using my opponent's weight against him and stuff like that. That's why I just changed.
Okay. And at the weigh-ins, and even tonight, and even when the fans were leaving the arena, you seem to get the biggest reaction. People are chanting Pantera, a lot of fans here supporting you, a lot of Mexican flags. I'm wondering if you heard any of that, and if you were surprised that here in Las Vegas, you were one of the biggest stars.
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't surprised, because I knew that a lot of Mexican people lives here, around here. California is pretty close, Nevada. I mean, a lot of friends and family came here to see my fight, to watch my fight. And I knew that a lot of Mexican people will be here because, not just because of me, because a lot of Mexicans were fighting the same card as me. And I was pretty happy, actually. I was that motivated.
And just a question for Edson. Congratulations as well. Historically, throughout your career, you've won fights and then you get to the big fight.
Differently, or are you still-
Yeah, I feel a lot differently. You know, I'm my own biggest critic, and out there, I was seeing all types of openings, you know, and I just wasn't pulling the trigger on a good 50, 60% of them. You know, I was just going for the real easy ones, like, you know, like the sidekick. That was like so open, and it was out of his punching range. But, you know, boxing-wise and stuff, something inside of me was like, you know, like, don't get caught with a big hand, you know, play it smart. Just way too hesitant in there. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful for a lot, but, you know, I'm still a little disappointed. Just know there's a much higher level inside of me. I'm not one to just fight last-minute opponents like that, and I switched up to a big old hard, heavy-hitting southpaw, and I was so primed for Daniel Cormier. So, you know, I'm not going to be too disappointed because I believe that I'm going to move and groove when I actually face this style that I've been thinking about for 7 months.
After the fight's over, you know, I'm sure you probably saw DC, and he was kind of wishing he was in there. You know, maybe you weren't having your best night. Do you believe it was ring rust, not your best night, or do you believe it was the switch of opponents that made the big difference in what your performance was tonight?
I think it was more the switch of opponents. Yeah, you know, if you've been following my career, you know how big I am to studying. I'm huge into studying. Me and my team, that's what we do. It's why I'm so confident going into my fights, is because I know what I'm getting into. And, you know, tonight, you know, Ovich just threw a completely different, you know, it was just a completely different thing than what I had prepared for. So, I'm going to say it was more the switch of opponents than ring rust. As far as ring rust, you know, I was attacking, and not as much as I liked, and my cardio was great, you know, no butterflies, being nervous, you know, walking out, I was loving it, feeling the moment, felt present in the octagon, but just hesitant to attack, and it was ring rust. Not ring rust, it was a switch of opponents.
I know they said something about after the fight you were in a wheelchair or something, but you walked up there, and you looked perfectly fine. How are you health-wise? And I mean, everyone's going to ask you the question,
right.
Do you feel good enough that you could fight at UFC 200?
I feel great enough to fight at UFC 200, for sure. Right away, my shins were swollen. My left shin was swollen, my left foot was swollen. And when my adrenaline came down, I felt some serious pain, so I just got in the wheelchair, made it easier for myself. But once I got a shoe on my foot, everything's a little more compressed now, and I'm walking around pretty close to fine. So I know by Wednesday, I'll be totally fine. Back in the gym, getting ready for Daniel Cormier.
Last question. I know it was killing you to not fight DC. I noticed on your way out of the octagon, you gave him you told him he was number one. So, I mean, does it just start up again right now? Do you already kind of have that fuel in your body that you just want to start, you know, getting ready for Daniel Cormier?
Yeah, you know what? I gave Daniel the finger leaving the octagon. It felt great to do. It creates buzz. It gets people ready for the fight. You know, it's like, okay, you know, me and DC don't like each other. He's been in my sights this whole time. We had a minor bump in the road. We had to take a little detour, and now it's back to you know, this beef with DC. So it wasn't. There was not too many emotions involved when we doing it. It was more for fun. It was more to get a reaction from the fans and restart this story between me and DC.
I was going to ask you a little bit about that because the other day you were praising him and you were happy for him that he won the title. And when I asked you, why don't you like him, you said, oh, because he don't like me.
Right.
But you said a lot of, you know, praiseworthy things about him. So now you got to take that back and sort of start snarling at him again?
Yeah. You know, it's like, I said what I said and I meant what I said. But At the end of the day, you know, it's exciting when you fight someone that you don't like and they don't like you. You know, you want to keep that going. And so I just wanted to give him a finger, just to keep it going, just to, you know, get under his skin and keep the fans excited.
So, you know, about a year ago, you were stripped of that belt. So
Yeah.
now you're back and you don't want the interim belt, but you might have been stripped of something else tonight. You know, a lot of people are saying Demetrius Johnson is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world now. And I wonder, I don't know if you looked at his performance, but, you know, if you look at him, and do you feel like he has a case for it, given how many fights in a row he's won, and how he looked tonight compared to how you looked tonight?
You know what, Demetrius Johnson, man, he is a tremendous athlete. He's a tremendous athlete, and you know, I really don't compare myself to other fighters. I don't compare myself financially. I don't care, you know, star power. You know, none of this stuff. You know, I feel like I'm famous enough, and you know, that's always going to be an argument to debate. You know, I've beat like 8 or 9 former world champions. That's something that not many people, no one's ever done in the sport. So like, I'm really confident in who I am and what I've accomplished, and you know, I think there's room for many people to be stars. You know, some people may look up to me and find motivation in me for this reason, and then they'll look up to Demetrius for this reason, and they'll look up to Connor for this reason, and they'll, you know, we're all stars, and someone else's star declining doesn't make my star climb any higher. You know, there's enough room in the sky for many people to be admired and respected. So, you know, whether people find me as the greatest ever, you know, that's their opinion. And whether people find Demetrius, it's always going to be a debatable topic. But I'll tell you this, I'll be really clear, I don't mind sharing that debate with a guy like Demetrius Johnson. He's unbelievable.
Let's ask you one thing. You know, I looked at the other day, and it's kind of amazing to see, but of the 10 UFC champions, since you do have a title in front of you, you were the 3rd youngest champion.
The 3rd youngest champion.
Your youngest Connor is younger than you are, and Joanna is younger than you by a month. So everybody else is older than you are. So I wonder, even though like some people think, well, maybe John's hit his peak and everything, you're still a young dude, relatively speaking. Do you feel like you're ascending in terms of your skills, and that can you be better than you were when you beat Shogun or when you beat Rampage, and et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I honestly do not feel as if I've hit my peak. I just hired a new jiu-jitsu coach to complement Greg Jackson's Gato Jitsu, Roberto, Tusa, Gracie Baja, unbelievable jiu-jitsu coach. I felt so comfortable on the ground tonight, even though I couldn't get a submission. I just felt really comfortable on the ground. New strength and conditioning coaches. There's just there's a much higher level inside of me, and I'm going to display it in my next fight.
And my last question for you is, so
and I'm on a journey to get it back. So, you know, this belt here, you know, it makes me feel good. You know, I took some pictures with it and everything, but you know, there's no real satisfaction. You know, there's no real like touchdown moment. Like, yeah, we made it, guys. No. Me and my coaches, my teammates, we're right back to the drawing board. You know, we're still on a mission. This thing it's kind of made up, kind of fake.
I know you said that you felt disappointed that you kind of missed some openings and things like that, but I am curious, how much of like patience and drawing it out was part of the game plan? Because I think some people were thinking maybe you kind of came in wanting to get some time in the cage underneath you, kind of wanting to work some time out.
Right.
So, you know, was there a plan to kind of be patient, not attack right from the beginning?
You know, one thing I noticed about this fight was I had this level of relaxation in there, where I was just like, just living in the moment and just enjoying it. You know, it was like, okay, I'm winning every round. Yeah, I'm getting booed for the first time, but I'm still winning. And, you know, Owens is a heavy hitter. You know, he has this huge knockout power. And I'm like, dude, I can't lose to a guy like Owens, you know, trying to do too much. So a part of me, this may sound funny, I don't know, a part of me was just like, you gotta fight DC, John. You gotta fight DC. Like, do what you gotta do to win this fight. You know, the goal is to get back to DC. Whether you look like crap right now, or not, you know, the goal is to get back to DC. So I'm not making any excuses, but that was definitely in my psychology. It's just like, all right, you know, do what you got to do to win each round. Finish if you can, but don't miss out on an opportunity to fight DC. Getting in there and haymaking with a guy who has this freakish knockout power, and you know, a guy who gets these knockouts from these really weird and unpredictable angles. So yeah.
And you mentioned the boos. It definitely wasn't obviously your most exciting fight, but
¿Qué tal, mi raza bonita? Ahora sí parece que la primavera ya se puso en todo su apogeo. Y déjeme decirle que estamos en una de las bonitas preparando las grandes ofertas de este fin de semana. Tenemos el tomate bola para una rica salsa, rico, sabroso, 3 libras por $1. Y además, mangos directamente de México, 3 mangazos por $1. Además, filete de tilapia, $1.89 la libra.
Vamos a la bonita.
Ven y disfruta del auténtico sabor mexicano. El Chamizal te ofrece gran variedad de platillos con un sabor inigualable. El exquisito molcajete Pancho Villa, el caldo 7 mares, el riquísimo agua chile, el super cóctel de camarones y la exótica cecina de venado y una gran variedad de mariscos. ¡Te esperamos!
Es temporada de taxes y muchas veces no sabemos a dónde acudir. Luis tuvo una mala experiencia en el 2011. Por tratar de ganar el sorteo de una camioneta, no recibió su reembolso, pero sí una auditoría. Y en el 2012 le prometieron $10.000 que nunca recibió y lo estafaron cobrándole $500 por su preparación. Miles de contribuyentes son víctimas de fraude cada año. TaxMax te da más. Te ofrecemos tu estimado gratis. Visítanos o llámame al 943-8886.